Every morning, a silent battle begins, and most people lose it before they even open their eyes. They wake up as slaves to their thoughts, prisoners to comfort, and victims of the same mental chaos that ruled them yesterday. But the Stoics, they were different. They treated each sunrise like a test, a chance to conquer the battlefield within before facing the world outside. Marcus Aurelius didn't need motivation. Seneca didn't wait for peace. Epictetus didn't search for comfort. They forged strength where others sought softness. They rewired their minds before the day could corrupt them. So when the alarm rings and the world tries to pull you back into distraction, remember this: you either command your mind or it commands you. These are 12 hidden Stoic rules to discipline your mind every morning. Rules so powerful that once you practice them, you'll never see mornings the same way again. Would you like me to now make this intro even darker and more cinematic, like a warrior mind awakening monologue with Marcus Aurelius style energy? 1. Kill the first emotion before it kills you. The Stoics believed that the very first emotion that rises within you after waking up has the power to shape your entire day. It may seem small, just a passing feeling of irritation, laziness, or anxiety, but that single emotion can become the commander of your thoughts if left unchecked. When you open your eyes in the morning, your mind is still soft, still forming its rhythm. That's when emotions like worry or anger sneak in silently. They whisper, "Stay in bed a little longer," or "Today will be stressful." And before you even realize it, you've surrendered your peace to a fleeting feeling. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means the battle isn't against the day ahead. It's against your first reaction to it. If you let that first emotion take control, the rest of your decisions will follow its lead. A little laziness becomes procrastination. A small annoyance turns into anger. A brief worry grows into anxiety. But if you can face that emotion the moment it appears, if you can observe it without obeying it, you regain your throne as the ruler of your mind. When you feel irritation rising, don't argue with it. Notice it. When you feel tiredness dragging you down, don't debate with it. Act despite it. The Stoics didn't believe in fighting emotions. With emotions they practiced replacing them with reason. For example, if you wake up and feel dread about the day ahead, pause and remind yourself, "This feeling doesn't define my reality. It's just a passing thought, not a command." By doing this, you create a sacred gap between impulse and action, the space where discipline is born. Think of it like a spark landing on dry wood. If you don't react, the spark dies. But if you fan it with your attention, if you feed it through complaining, overthinking, or self-pity, it ignites into a fire that consumes your calm, your focus, and your strength. The Stoic trains his mind like a soldier. The first thought in the morning is not something to follow, it's something to test. Ask yourself, is this emotion useful? Does it make me stronger or weaker? If it weakens you, kill it quickly, not with anger, but with awareness. This is why discipline is not about having constant motivation. Motivation depends on mood, and mood changes with weather. Discipline is about command, to the ability to act rightly, even when your emotions protest. Every day begins with a test. Who will take charge, your emotion or your reason? If your emotion wins, your day becomes a series of reactions. But if your reason wins, you turn your day into deliberate action. So, when you wake tomorrow and your mind whispers, "Stay a little longer in bed," answer calmly, "No, I decide." When it murmurs, "It's going to be a bad day," reply, "We'll see, but I'll meet it with strength." Each time you do this, you take back a piece of your freedom. The Stoics didn't aim to suppress emotion, they aimed to master it, because the one who conquers the first emotion conquers the entire day, and over time, he conquers himself. 2. Remember that you might die today, and still do the dishes. Memento mori, remember that you will die. These 3 words were the heartbeat of Stoic wisdom, yet they were never meant to sadden, they were meant to awaken. The Stoics didn't meditate on death to live in fear. They did it to live fully, urgently, and meaningfully. When you wake up in the morning, take a quiet moment and remind yourself, I might not see tonight. This thought is not morbid. It's a powerful form of clarity. It cuts through the fog of laziness, excuses, and meaningless distractions. When you realize how fragile life is, every small moment gains importance. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." To the Stoic mind, this wasn't a threat, it was a guide. It meant, don't waste the morning arguing with your thoughts, scrolling through distractions, or dwelling on what could go wrong. Instead, return to the simplicity of living with intention. Brush your teeth, make your bed, wash the dishes, and do it all with presence. Why? Because even the most ordinary act, when done with awareness, becomes sacred. Most people think of greatness as something found in massive achievements or fame. But the Stoics believed true greatness is built through how you handle the small, invisible moments, the ones no one claps for. When you wash a dish as if it were your final act, you train your mind to live without resistance, without complaint, and without waste. Every action becomes meditation. Every breath becomes gratitude. You begin to realize that peace doesn't come from avoiding death. It comes from accepting life as temporary and choosing to live it with care. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Remembering death is not a reason to panic. It's a reminder not to postpone your potential. The mind that truly understands the inevitability of death stops waiting for someday. It stops chasing perfection and begins embracing effort. You do the work not because you'll live forever, but because you won't. You speak kindly not because you expect reward, but because time is running out for everyone. You stop arguing over petty things because you realize the clock is ticking for both of you. So, when you wake up before rushing into the chaos of the day, whisper to yourself, "If this is my last morning, how will I live it?" Then live it not by doing grand things, but by doing simple things beautifully. Pour your coffee with care, smile at someone, forgive easily, tidy your space, do the dishes. Because even if this were your last day, it would still be a good one filled with presence, gratitude, and calm acceptance. That's the Stoic secret. When you remember that death can arrive at any moment, life finally begins to feel alive. And the one who can face death calmly while washing the dishes, that person has already mastered the art of living. 3. Break one comfort every morning. The Stoics believe that comfort, while pleasant, is the silent killer of strength. Every time you choose ease over effort, your mind forgets how to endure. Seneca warned, "Softness makes the soul weak." A comfortable life may feel peaceful, but it slowly takes away your resilience, your focus, and your ability to handle pain. That is why every morning, before the world can weaken you with pleasure, you must break one comfort on purpose. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to remind your body and mind who is in command. Take a cold shower when your body screams for warmth. Sit in silence when your fingers itch to scroll through your phone. Wake up without hitting snooze. Skip the sugary breakfast that numbs your energy. The point is not punishment, it's power. Each time you deny yourself a comfort, you prove to your mind that you are not a slave to impulses. You reclaim control from habits that quietly rule you. The Stoic doesn't seek discomfort because he enjoys pain. He seeks it because it sharpens the soul. Epictetus, born a slave, said, "Difficulties show what men are." By deliberately choosing something difficult each morning, you train your character the way a soldier trains his muscles. You learn to endure the small inconveniences so that when life throws real suffering at you, loss, rejection, chaos, you don't break. You have already practiced not breaking. The mind that has tasted discomfort voluntarily fears nothing when discomfort comes involuntarily. This simple daily ritual rewires your brain. It reminds you that pain is not your enemy, dependency is. Comfort dulls your instincts and clouds your vision. The moment you start needing things to be a certain way to feel okay, you have lost your freedom. Stoic discipline means being at peace even when nothing goes your way because you are no longer controlled by external conditions. So tomorrow morning, before the day begins, ask yourself, what will I deny myself today to stay sharp? It might be warmth, pleasure, convenience, or approval. Whatever it is, let it go. Step willingly into a small hardship and let your soul feel the resistance. In that moment, you are not punishing yourself. You are preparing yourself. You are strengthening the unseen muscle of the will, the one that bends but never breaks. When you practice this daily, something profound happens. The small annoyances that used to irritate you, waiting in lines, rude people, unexpected problems no longer shake you. You begin to see them as training opportunities, not obstacles. You become harder to disturb, easier to please, and impossible to control. The Stoic's goal was never comfort. It was command. He knew that the one who needs less is the one who cannot be conquered. So each morning, break one comfort, feel the sting, and smile, because in that sting lies your strength, the proof that you are alive, awake, and still in charge of yourself. 4. Watch your thoughts like a guard watches a prison. Every morning, your mind opens its gates, and thoughts begin to rush in like prisoners trying to escape. Some are harmless wanderers, others are thieves disguised as friends. The Stoics believe that your first duty each day is to stand guard at these gates, alert and disciplined, because every thought you let in has the power to shape who you become. Marcus Aurelius warned, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." That means whatever you allow to linger in your mind will eventually paint your entire mood, your choices, and your destiny. Most people wake up and let their thoughts run wild. They replay yesterday's regrets, tomorrow's worries, or someone's hurtful words. They hand over the keys of their peace without realizing it. But a Stoic wakes up differently. He becomes a mental guard, firm, aware, and selective. The moment a thought enters, he inspects it like a soldier checking credentials. Who sent you? What do you want from me? Will you help me grow or destroy my focus? If the thought leads to fear, jealousy, or useless anxiety, it's denied entry. If it brings reason, strength, or clarity, it's allowed to pass. This discipline transforms the mind from a chaotic market into a peaceful fortress. You stop being dragged around by emotions and start observing them with calm authority. The Stoics didn't aim to have no thoughts. They aimed to have mastery over which ones they believed. That is true freedom, when your thoughts no longer command you, but obey you. Imagine your mind as a vast kingdom. Every morning, you are its gatekeeper. If you let just one corrupt thought sneak in, "I'm not enough, I can't do this, everything's going wrong," it begins to infect the whole realm. But if you stay alert and question that thought, you stop the poison before it spreads. Ask yourself, is this thought under my control? Is it useful? Is it even true? If not, throw it out without hesitation. Epictetus taught that people are not disturbed by things, but by their opinions about things. So when you feel anxious, it's rarely reality that hurts you. It's the story you're telling yourself about it. The mind that learns to separate reality from interpretation becomes untouchable. This is why the Stoics practice daily thought inspection, to prevent emotion from turning into chaos. Try this each morning. Before reaching for your phone, take 1 minute to watch your thoughts without reacting. Let them appear and disappear, like clouds passing across the sky. Don't chase them. Don't fight them. Just observe. That simple act of watching creates a small but powerful distance between you and your thoughts, and in that space lies control. Over time, you'll notice how quiet the mind becomes when it's not constantly being hijacked. you'll start to see how many of your worries are imaginary, how many of your fears are exaggerated, and how much energy you waste feeding thoughts that don't serve you. The Stoic doesn't fear his mind. He trains it. He doesn't suppress thoughts. He filters them. Every morning, he reminds himself, I am not my thoughts. I am the watcher behind them. And from that awareness grows calmness, clarity, and power. So tomorrow, when the flood of thoughts rushes in, don't panic. Stand tall at the gate of your mind and guard your peace with reason. Because once you master your thoughts, no chaos outside of you can ever imprison you again. 5. Burn one desire before sunrise. Every morning, before the world tempts you with its noise, the Stoics would perform a quiet inner ritual, the burning of one desire. They understood that most of human suffering doesn't come from what we lack, but from what we crave. Desires pull the mind into restlessness. They whisper, you'll be happy when you earn more, when they like you, when things go your way. But the Stoic saw through this illusion. He knew that the man who constantly chases satisfaction is like someone drinking salt water. The more he drinks, the thirstier he becomes. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Every morning, before your day begins, look inward and find one desire that secretly controls you. It might be the desire to be admired, to be comfortable, to win every argument, or to escape discomfort. Then, take a deep breath and burn it mentally. Don't argue with it or condemn it. Simply see it for what it is, a chain disguised as a dream. The Stoic didn't aim to destroy joy. He aimed to destroy dependency. When your happiness depends on nothing external, you become truly free. Imagine this like cleaning the temple of your mind before prayer. Each desire you release clears the altar so that your higher self can breathe. The more desires you burn, the lighter you feel. You no longer wake up chasing approval or fearing loss. You stop comparing your life to others because you realize peace doesn't come from getting more, it comes from needing less. This practice is not about renouncing the world, it's about ruling it. When you burn one desire, you take back authority over your emotions. The things that used to control your mood, attention, comfort, validation, lose their grip. You begin to walk through life with calm detachment. You can appreciate beauty without clinging to it, enjoy success without worshiping it, and face failure without being broken by it. Start small. Each morning, pick one desire to release. It could be your craving for recognition, let it go. Or your obsession with results, let it go. Feel the mental discomfort that follows. That's your ego, screaming for attention. Sit with it, breathe through it. In a few minutes, that noise fades, leaving behind something far more valuable: stillness. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." And every desire is, at its core, an attempt to control what isn't yours: people's opinions, outcomes, time, and fate. When you wake up and consciously burn one of these desires, you weaken their hold and strengthen your inner fortress. Soon, you begin to see how light a human being can become when they no longer carry endless wanting. You become grounded, content, and unshakable. The man who needs nothing cannot be manipulated by anything. So before the sun rises, before you touch your phone or check the world, sit in silence. Ask yourself, what is one thing I can release today? Picture that desire as a flame, bright, consuming, deceptive. Then exhale deeply and blow it out. Feel the peace that follows. That calm isn't emptiness, it's power. The Stoics knew the secret that most people ignore. Every morning you burn a desire, you add another brick to your freedom. One day, when all the unnecessary cravings have turned to ash, what remains will be something pure, a soul that no longer chases, but simply is. 6. Observe one fear, then walk straight into it. Fear is the most skilled liar your mind will ever meet. It disguises itself as logic, caution, or even self-protection. But beneath all its masks lies a single mission to keep you small. The Stoics understood this deeply. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." He meant that fear lives in the mind long before it ever appears in the world. Every morning, a Stoic warrior doesn't run from his fears. He studies them. He shines a light on them before they can grow claws in the dark. When you wake up, take a moment to ask yourself, what am I avoiding today? It could be a conversation you've postponed, a dream you've delayed, or a truth you're afraid to face. That's your enemy, not the event itself, but the fear that binds you to inaction. The Stoics believed that avoidance is a form of surrender. Each time you delay what scares you, you make it stronger. But each time you face it, you steal a piece of its power. The practice is simple, yet transformative. Every morning, choose one small fear and confront it. Send that message you've been hesitating to send. Speak the truth you've been holding in. Start the task that overwhelms you. Don't wait until you feel brave. Act first. Courage doesn't come before action. It comes because of it. Fear loses its authority the moment you move toward it. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining." That was his way of shrinking fear down to its true size. Fear feeds on exaggeration. It grows when you keep imagining the worst. But when you finally face it, you realize it was only smoke. The Stoics called this premeditation of fear, not to dwell on what could go wrong, but to train the mind to remain calm when it does. The man who faces his fear each morning develops an unbreakable kind of confidence, not the loud, boastful kind, but the quiet certainty that he can handle whatever comes. This daily discipline rewires your brain. You start to see fear not as a warning, but as a compass. Wherever you feel fear, there lies your next level of growth. That's why Epictetus said, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself?" Facing fear is how you make that demand real. Think of fear like a fog. From a distance, it looks thick and endless. But once you step into it, you realize it's only mist. It cannot touch your core. You begin to see that the real danger was never the fear itself, but your hesitation to walk through it. Every morning, you take one step toward what you fear. You make your spirit a little stronger, your heart a little calmer, your mind a little freer. So tomorrow, before the day begins, don't just prepare for comfort, prepare for confrontation. Sit quietly and name one fear out loud. Feel its weight in your chest. Then say to yourself, "I choose to move toward this, not away from it." You don't need to conquer the whole mountain, just take the first step into the mist. The Stoic didn't wait for fear to disappear, he transformed it into fuel. Each morning, he reminded himself that courage is not the absence of fear, but mastery over it. The more you run toward what terrifies you, the less it controls you. And soon, you'll discover what all Stoics eventually learn. The other side of fear is freedom. And the one who walks through fear every morning walks through life undefeated. 7. End every morning by forgiving the world. Before you step out into the noise, the Stoics taught that you must cleanse your heart, not with rituals or mantras, but with forgiveness. Marcus Aurelius began his mornings by reminding himself, "Today I shall meet people who are selfish, ungrateful, deceitful, arrogant, jealous, and surly. But they are like this because they cannot tell good from evil." He didn't write those words in anger. He wrote them in preparation. He knew that peace doesn't come from changing people. It comes from changing how you respond to them. That's why the final Stoic discipline of the morning is forgiveness. Not at night, when the damage is done, but at dawn, before the world can touch you. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's armor. It's how you enter the day unburdened, clear, and calm. Most people begin their mornings already carrying the weight of yesterday: resentment, frustration, disappointment. They wake up and replay old arguments in their minds, feeding grudges that drain their strength. The Stoic refuses this poison. He knows that holding on to anger is like drinking acid and expecting someone else to burn. So, before anything else, he releases it. Take a moment each morning to recall anyone or anything that disturbed your peace. Then breathe deeply and say quietly, "I forgive them, not because they deserve it, but because I deserve peace." You don't have to forget. You don't have to agree. You don't have to invite them back into your life. You simply refuse to let their actions live rent-free in your mind. That is Stoic forgiveness, not sentimental, but strategic. Epictetus said, "When you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings." This isn't self-blame, it's perspective. It reminds you that we are all struggling in our own ways. The person who hurt you may be acting out of fear, ignorance, or pain. When you see their behavior as a reflection of their suffering, not your worth, compassion replaces anger naturally. That compassion is not softness, it's strength. It shows you're in control of your emotions, not enslaved by them. Forgiveness also means forgiving yourself. You cannot begin the day strong if you start it with guilt. Everyone makes mistakes, says things they regret, or falls short of their standards. The Stoics taught that guilt without correction is useless. So each morning, instead of beating yourself up, acknowledge what you can improve and let the rest go. Tell yourself, yesterday has ended. Today, I begin again. That's what Marcus Aurelius meant when he wrote, "Don't let the past and the future weigh you down." Each day provides its own gifts. When you carry forgiveness into the morning, you move through the world lighter. The comments of others no longer pierce you. The chaos around you no longer infects your peace. You stop expecting perfection from imperfect people, and that simple shift frees you from endless disappointment. You learn to smile at the flaws of others because you've already made peace with your own. This practice also prepares you for emotional endurance. Life will always send tests, rude words, betrayal, misunderstanding. But when forgiveness becomes a habit, you meet these trials with stillness, not reaction. You start to understand that people can only give what they have inside. A bitter heart spreads bitterness. A peaceful heart spreads calm. Which one you carry is always your choice. So, tomorrow morning, after you've calmed your mind and centered your thoughts, take one final breath and whisper this to yourself. "I forgive everything and everyone, including myself." Feel the tension leave your body, as if you've dropped a heavy bag you didn't realize you were carrying. That moment of release is your true morning reset. Because the Stoics knew a powerful truth: the one who forgives first wins first. He walks into the day unarmed but undefeated. His peace cannot be stolen because he's already given up the need to fight. Forgiveness doesn't make you weak, it makes you untouchable. And when you begin every morning by forgiving the world, you carry a calmness that no insult, no injustice, and no person can ever destroy. 8. Bow to nothing except your own higher self. Each morning, before the noise of the world begins, the Stoics performed a silent act of remembrance, not of gods or wealth, but of the Logos, the divine reason, the higher intelligence that lives within every human being. They believe that every soul carries a spark of the universe itself, a piece of divine order that guides us toward virtue, truth, and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if you will ever dig." That is the heart of Stoic discipline, to begin your day by bowing not to the world, not to fear, not to desire, but to the higher self that dwells quietly inside you. When you wake, take a moment to remember who you truly are beneath the noise. Not your name, your role, your possessions, or your reputation, but the consciousness that watches them all. This self does not need validation, nor does it crumble when ignored. It is steady, silent, and powerful. The Stoics called this the inner citadel, the place no one can enter or harm unless you open the gates. Every morning, You must visit this place. Sit with your breath and remind yourself, I am not my emotions. I am not my past. I am the witness of both. That single realization realigns your mind with strength. Most people bow to something every morning without realizing it. Some bow to their phone, letting the world dictate how they feel before they've even taken a breath. Others bow to anxiety, letting fear decide how their day will unfold. Some bow to comfort, chasing softness instead of purpose. But the Stoic bows only to reason, to the divine order inside him. That inner bow is not religious, it's an act of self-respect. It's saying, I will not serve my impulses, I will serve my integrity. Seneca said, the man who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. And that battle begins each morning with a single question. Who rules me today, my lower self or my higher self? Your lower self wants instant pleasure, revenge, validation, and comfort. Your higher self wants truth, mastery, patience, and meaning. The moment you recognize this difference, life becomes simple. Every choice, every reaction, every emotion becomes a question of loyalty. Am I bowing to weakness or to wisdom? Start your day by declaring allegiance to your higher self. Sit quietly, place your hand over your heart, and remind yourself, I bow to reason. I bow to virtue. I bow to the part of me that cannot be corrupted. This act centers your energy. It tells your subconscious that no matter what chaos the day brings, you will respond from a place of power, not panic. You will speak truth even when lies are easier. You will stay calm even when anger feels justified. You will remain kind even when the world is not. This is how the Stoics maintained their calm amid empires and wars, by remembering that no one can truly enslave a man who serves his higher self. You can imprison his body, but not his character. You can insult his name, but not his soul. You can strip away his wealth, but not his wisdom. The man who bows to nothing external becomes untouchable. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, ruled millions, yet knelt before no man, because he knelt before reason itself. That's why his power endured, even in solitude. Every morning, he reminded himself that he was a part of something greater, and his duty was to align with it, to live in harmony with truth, not emotion. So tomorrow morning, when you rise, don't rush to your routine. Pause, look within. Feel that quiet presence inside you, the observer behind your thoughts, the calm beneath your chaos. That's your higher self. Bow to it with gratitude. Promise it loyalty for the day ahead. And when you walk into the world, carry that stillness with you. Let people rage. Let the world demand. Let events unfold, but remember who you serve. Because the one who bows only to their higher self cannot be controlled by fear, flattery, or failure. He walks with quiet authority, not because the world bows to him, but because he no longer bows to the world. 9. Expect betrayal, yet trust life. Anyway, every morning, the Stoics reminded themselves of one painful truth. The world will not always be kind. People will disappoint you. Plans will collapse. Life will betray your expectations again and again. Marcus Aurelius wrote, begin each day by telling yourself, today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness. Yet in the same breath, he reminded himself not to grow bitter, because the Stoic strength is not found in avoiding betrayal, but in staying unshaken when it comes. When you expect betrayal, you're not becoming cynical, you're becoming realistic. You're preparing your heart, not hardening it. The Stoics knew that disappointment hurts most when it's unexpected. When you wake up assuming everything will go smoothly, the smallest disruption feels unbearable. But when you remind yourself that life owes you nothing, that even those you trust may fail, that even your best plans may collapse, you gain the ability to move through chaos with calm acceptance. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Why not me?" That's the shift from victimhood to mastery. Still, the Stoic didn't let this awareness turn him cold. He continued to trust life not because he believed people were perfect, but because he believed he could handle imperfection. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That means your peace doesn't depend on people keeping their promises. It depends on your ability to keep your composure. When you trust life, you're not trusting outcomes. You're trusting your inner strength to face whatever comes. Every betrayal, every disappointment is a lesson in disguise. The Stoic sees them not as wounds, but as teachers. Someone lies to you, you learn discernment. Someone leaves you, you learn self-reliance. Someone betrays your kindness, you learn to give without attachment. Life's betrayals are not punishments, they are refinements. They sand down the ego and polish the soul. Each time you are hurt, you are given a chance to grow stronger, quieter, and wiser. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Betrayal is one of those difficulties. It's emotional labor for the soul. You don't need to pretend it doesn't hurt. Feel it fully, then let it go. Don't carry the poison forward. When someone betrays you, don't vow revenge, vow improvement. Let their actions sharpen your awareness, but never close your heart. That's what separates a Stoic from a cynic. The Stoic sees clearly, but still chooses to love. Try this practice each morning. As you sit quietly before your day begins, say to yourself, "Today, someone may misunderstand me, someone may lie, someone may be ungrateful, but none of it can harm who I am inside." Breathe deeply and visualize yourself walking through the day. Like a calm river, obstacles may fall into you, but you continue flowing, clear and steady. This mental rehearsal prepares you to face betrayal, not with anger, but with grace. When you learn to expect disappointment without becoming bitter, something extraordinary happens. You stop fearing it. You no longer need people or events to behave perfectly for you to stay peaceful. You begin to understand that, no matter what others do, your response remains yours alone. That's ultimate control, the kind the world cannot take away. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, don't ask for a day without pain. Ask for a mind strong enough to endure it without losing kindness. Expect betrayal, it's part of the human story. But trust life anyway, because every betrayal removes an illusion, every disappointment brings you closer to truth, and every ending clears space for something more aligned with your purpose. The Stoic doesn't beg for fairness, he builds resilience. He knows that while others may betray him, life itself never does. Life always gives him exactly what he needs to grow, even when it comes wrapped in pain. And so, he walks on calm, trusting, unshaken, knowing that no betrayal outside him can destroy the peace he has built within. 10. Begin the day with death behind you. The Stoics began each morning with a strange but liberating image, themselves already dead, not in a morbid sense, but in a freeing one. They imagined that their life had already ended yesterday, and this sunrise was not a continuation, it was a gifted extension. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to love, to enjoy." But behind that gratitude was a deeper truth. If you begin the day with death behind you, nothing ahead can truly scare you. Think of it this way. Most people live as if they have endless tomorrows. They delay forgiveness, postpone dreams, and spend their mornings worrying about things that won't matter at the end. But the Stoic wakes up knowing this could be it. The clock has no guarantee. The breath you're taking now could be the last gift you receive from the universe. And strangely, that realization doesn't cause despair. It causes clarity. When you accept death, life finally stops slipping through your fingers. By imagining death as something already past, You remove the fear that paralyzes most people. You walk lighter. You stop needing control because you've already surrendered what everyone else is trying to protect, the illusion of permanence. You stop living to impress, to compete, to be remembered. Instead, you live to be. Every act, no matter how small, making your bed, helping someone, eating breakfast, becomes sacred because it exists in borrowed time. Seneca wrote, "He who does not prepare for death will never live." The Stoics didn't prepare for death by mourning it, they prepared by practicing presence. To them, death wasn't an interruption of life, it was the mirror that gave life meaning. Each morning, they used it to sharpen their awareness. If this were my last sunrise, would I waste it on anger? Would I scroll mindlessly through noise? Would I spend it complaining? Or would I use it as proof that I have one more chance to live rightly? That's the Stoics' morning meditation, not to fear death, but to use it as a compass for living. Imagine starting your day this way. You open your eyes, and before any thought of plans or worries, you whisper to yourself, "I have died, and I have been given this day back. What will I do with it?" Suddenly, every small moment becomes precious. The taste of water feels deeper. The sound of birds outside feels fuller. Even silence feels like a gift. The ordinary transforms into the extraordinary because you're no longer asleep inside your own life. This mindset builds an unstoppable kind of peace. When you've already accepted death, what else can the world threaten you with? You lose the fear of failure, rejection, embarrassment, and loss because you've already accepted the ultimate loss. And from that acceptance comes power. You begin to act boldly, speak honestly, and love fiercely because you no longer wait for a right time. Every time becomes the right time. The Stoics lived close to death, not because they were obsessed with endings, but because they were devoted to beginnings. Each morning, they began again, fully aware that every breath was borrowed. They understood that no one truly lives until they stop running from mortality. When death stands behind you, life finally stands in front of you. You walk forward without fear, because there's nothing left to lose, only something left to give. So, tomorrow, when the morning light hits your eyes, remember this: you've already died once. This new dawn is not owed to you, it's a gift. Treat it that way. Breathe deeply, speak kindly, do what matters, forgive quickly. Let go of what weighs you down. If you live today as if you've been given a second chance because you have, you'll find that every sunrise feels like a resurrection. That's the Stoics' final and greatest discipline: to rise from the ashes of yesterday and live this day with gratitude, fearlessness, and presence. Because when you begin each morning with death behind you, you no longer merely exist, you truly live. 11. Don't rush to speak. Let silence train your power. The Stoics believed that speech was a reflection of the soul. Every word you release carries the shape of your mind. That's why they valued silence, not as emptiness, but as strength. Epictetus said, "Be silent for the most part," or, "If you speak, say only what is necessary and in few words." To the Stoic, silence is not weakness or shyness. It's self-mastery. It's proof that you are in command of your impulses, that your words are guided by reason, not emotion. Every morning, the Stoic disciplines his tongue before he disciplines the world. When you wake up, your mind is still unguarded, restless, half-dreaming, reactive. Most people immediately start talking to themselves, to others, to their screens, spilling words before the mind has found stillness. But the Stoic waits. He practices the art of silence. He lets his thoughts settle like dust in still air. He doesn't rush to answer messages or comment on everything. He watches his inner dialogue before he allows it to become sound. That small delay between impulse and expression is where true power is built. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." He understood that unnecessary words dilute inner strength. Every time you speak without awareness, you give away a fragment of your energy. You scatter your focus into the noise. But when you hold silence, even for a few minutes each morning, your words, when finally spoken, carry weight. They are measured, deliberate, and infused with presence. Silence also reveals the truth about your own mind. When you stop speaking, you start hearing the noise within your fears, your judgments, your self-talk. Most people avoid silence because they're afraid of what they might hear in it, but the Stoic embraces that discomfort. He sits quietly and listens to the mind's chatter, not to obey it, but to observe it. With time, he notices which thoughts are wise and which are worthless. Silence becomes a mirror that reflects his character. This practice isn't about being mute, it's about being mindful. When you learn to pause before you speak, you stop reacting and start responding. You notice that most things don't need your opinion. You discover that truth doesn't need defending through argument. It needs embodying through action. The Stoic speaks rarely, but when he does, his words cut through noise like a sword through fog. Try this tomorrow. When you wake up, don't rush to fill the room with sound. Spend the first 10 minutes in complete silence. Observe your breath, listen to the world, waking up the hum of life outside. Notice how your thoughts want to push you to move, scroll, or speak, and simply resist. Let silence train you. You'll feel your awareness deepen, your focus sharpen, and your emotional storms begin to calm. That's your inner discipline awakening. Seneca said, "I never regretted my silence, but often my speech." The Stoic understood that words once spoken cannot be retrieved. They ripple outward, shaping perception and consequence. That's why restraint is a higher form of intelligence. The strong man controls others. The wise man controls his tongue. When you hold back words born of anger, ego, or impatience, you save yourself from countless battles that were never worth fighting. As your day unfolds, carry that morning silence with you like a shield. Speak less, and when you do, let your words serve purpose. Don't speak to impress. Speak to express truth. Don't speak to win. Speak to clarify. And if silence says it better, choose silence. Over time, you'll notice something remarkable. Silence amplifies presence. People will listen when you speak because your words will no longer be noise. They'll be substance. Your calm will command attention more than any speech ever could. The Stoics knew that silence is not the absence of power, it is its refinement. Each morning, you resist the urge to speak too soon. You forge patience, humility, and depth. The world talks too much. The wise observe, think, and act. So before you let your first words leave your mouth, remember, silence is the language of strength, and every word you withhold builds your fortress of self-control. 12. Don't seek motivation. Seek command. Every morning, the weak wait for a feeling to guide them. They pray for motivation, hoping it will carry them through the day. But the Stoic knows motivation is a mirage. It comes and goes, like weather, unreliable and fleeting. The disciplined mind does not wait for emotion to push it forward. It commands itself to move with or without enthusiasm. That's why Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom doesn't come from doing what you feel like, it comes from doing what must be done, even when you don't feel like it. Motivation is external. It depends on mood, energy, and circumstance. Command is internal. It depends only on your decision. The Stoic begins each morning by killing the question, "Do I feel like it?" He replaces it with, "What must I do now?" This small shift separates those who drift from those who build. Feelings fluctuate, but duty remains steady. And by choosing duty over mood, the Stoic forges a mind that cannot be swayed by laziness or excuses. When you wake up tired or unmotivated, don't feed that weakness with comfort. Don't look for inspiration outside you, it won't last. Instead, practice command. Get up anyway, move anyway, act anyway, Marcus Aurelius said. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being. He didn't say, rise when you feel ready. He said, rise because you have a purpose. That's what separates a philosopher from a wanderer, purpose over pleasure. Each time you act without waiting to feel ready, you strengthen your will. You prove to yourself that you are the commander of your body, not its prisoner. You break the invisible chain that ties your actions to emotion. That is real Stoic discipline, not the suppression of feeling, but independence from it. You no longer need excitement to start or comfort to continue. You work from principle, not impulse. The Stoics treated discipline like a muscle. Every time you use it, it grows. Every time you surrender to laziness, it weakens. So when your mind whispers, just 5 more minutes, recognize that voice as the enemy of your greatness. The more you obey it, the more power it gains. But the moment you disobey it, you take that power back. That's how you rewire the mind, not through quotes or motivation, but through action that defies emotion. Seneca said, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Motivation avoids friction. Command embraces it. Each morning, you rise and act despite discomfort. You polish your character. You stop needing ideal conditions because you realize that the perfect time to act will never come. The moment you start, the strength you need appears. Command also builds peace. When your actions no longer depend on how you feel, life becomes simpler. You stop riding emotional highs and lows. You stop chasing energy spikes or waiting for inspiration. You simply do what must be done. This consistency creates confidence, not the loud kind that boasts, but the quiet kind that never doubts itself. The Stoic doesn't need to feel powerful. He is powerful because he commands his own behavior. Try this tomorrow. The moment your alarm rings, don't hesitate. Sit up, breathe, move. Don't think about it. Thinking is where resistance hides. Let action lead thought. Once you move, the mind follows. This is how Stoics rewired themselves, by teaching the body obedience to the will, until will itself became effortless. And when the day gets hard, when boredom, fatigue, or doubt creep in, remind yourself, I do not need to feel inspired, I need only to act. You will discover that movement itself creates energy. Progress itself becomes fuel. You'll no longer be a slave to fleeting moods, because you'll have built a mind that moves on command. This is the final and highest discipline, to no longer depend on motivation, applause, or reward, to be moved only by purpose, to act because it is right, not because it is easy. That is what it means to live by Stoic command, to wake each morning as your own master, unmoved by emotion, guided only by reason, and ready to face the day, not because you're inspired to, but because you decided to. Discipline is not built in grand gestures or heroic moments. It's forged quietly, every dawn, in the first hour of the day. The Stoics understood this sacred truth. Your mornings are not just a beginning, they are a battlefield where the mind is either conquered or corrupted. Every thought you control, every comfort you resist, every emotion you master. These are victories that shape the entire rhythm of your life. To discipline your mind every morning is to declare sovereignty over yourself. You stop being a slave to moods, to comfort, to fear, to chaos. You rise not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Marcus Aurelius didn't wake up to luxury, he woke up to duty. Epictetus, born into slavery, didn't wait for motivation, he built command. Seneca, surrounded by wealth, practiced simplicity to keep his soul sharp. They all knew the same timeless truth. The man who wins his mornings owns his destiny. So, when you open your eyes tomorrow, remember, this is not just another day. This is a test of mastery. The world will whisper distractions, emotions will try to rule you, and your mind will tempt you to stay weak. But a Stoic doesn't bow to comfort. He bows to reason. He kills the first emotion before it grows, burns one desire before it enslaves him, faces one fear before it multiplies, and walks into the day unarmed yet unbreakable. Your mornings decide the man you become. Each one is a chance to practice self-command, to build your fortress of calm, and to rise above the noise of the world. The Stoic doesn't pray for easy days, he trains for difficult ones. And when you train your mind this way, every sunrise becomes a ceremony of strength. You won't need motivation anymore, because discipline will have become your nature. You won't fear chaos, because stillness will have become your weapon. You won't chase meaning, because you'll live it, moment by moment, breath by breath. This is the Stoic way. Wake up with purpose, move with clarity, act with virtue, and end each day knowing you mastered yourself a little more than yesterday. Because the man who conquers his mind each morning doesn't just survive the day he creates it,